welcome to Property Quorum. Yes, I know. It seems like you've rather lost a couple of people. Apologies from Hamish. Unfortunately, he's very unwell at the moment. Should be back to fighting form soon. Julia, it seems like they've been talking because she's also unwell, and hopefully we'll be back in fighting form. Wendy is unavailable. It's a shame, but we are the slightly reduced Property Quorum here to talk about the last couple of bon mots of the year before we get off and start celebrating the new 2026. Today's is a roundup of rents, rules, rates, and reality. And I guess I'm going to start off with Chris. Chris, it seems to me that there's been a lot of change, but I don't feel like we're any further away from where we were when we started, or maybe it's just me.
I'd say it's been a very turbulent year. It's certainly had lots of twists and turns that were very unexpected. Things seem to be going almost backwards in some parts of the property industry. Building still seems to be quite slow in terms of construction of new properties. Certainly in the social housing sector, lots and lots of twists and turns in terms of providers having challenges working with the central government and working with funding supplies, which seem to be very much in turmoil at this point in time. Rule books have been torn up, but not replaced with anything. So
it's just left a void, isn't it? Really?
There's a huge amount of ambiguity. Yeah. So I'd say confidence is quite low, certainly in this sector in what's been going on. Now, I'm sure that could turn around very quickly, but it remains to be seen who's going to start pushing for some clear, concise action in different parts of the sector.
And in your sector, of course, social housing, there's never been a greater need for it, has there?
The need is off the charts. Yeah, it's quite staggering. Funding, I think, is one of the biggest challenges in the sector. The rates freeze on local housing allowance that the government has put into place again is going to widen the gap to some extent in terms of availability on general social housing, and a little less impactful on the especially supported living. But still, the people who are most in need really need to be as competitive as possible in having access to availability of stock. And we already know that landlords are leaving the market in droves. My inbound leads are just off the charts in terms of landlords getting in touch with us saying that they want to exit quickly.
So for you, I guess finding source material is like shooting fish in a barrel, but the problem is financing the whole thing is ever more difficult, right?
It's very challenging, and lots because of the lack of confidence in the market. People are generally keeping their powder dry and sat in their hands. So while there's a lot of capital sloshing around, there's a reluctance to place it because there's just that level of ambiguity of direction from central government in terms of what's going to happen next. And the last two budgets that have come out seem to be almost a slap in the face to everyone who's trying to operate in any part of the property industry.
Wow. Zara, welcome to the show, as ever, friend of the show. And I had a word with Zara just before we came on. She promised she's going to try and find some chinks of light in all this, because it can otherwise turn a little bit mawkish. Now, Zara, it seems to me, I mean, you see a lot of people at the raw end of this whole thing, struggling to make it work and worried about still, the property actually going through and being worth anything by the end of it. Is the property market, in your view, stable? Is it a place to invest in a moment, or should we all sit on our hands like Chris is suggesting so many people are?
Well, I think there's two aspects to it. You've got these people that use the property market for investment and to generate more money, and then you've got people that are genuinely looking for their own homes, and potentially they might be being priced out because of those people boosting the investments and willing to, what should I say, fund the house builders with the poor quality homes, government talking about reintroducing Help to Buy and all this build baby build nonsense. You know, you can build all you want, but you've got to tackle the people that build these homes so they're not, you know, using complex legal measures to continue making an income out of people who've bought in good faith.
So, would you say that? I mean, as we often discuss on Cladding Matters, shameless plug, 1 o'clock on Fridays, that we talk about the quality of building as perhaps more corners are still being cut, and larger builders are looking for ways they can continue that process.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the system's been rigged for a long, long time. They've taken advantage of it. And, you know, only just this week I've had messages from people saying, oh my God, the developer's saying we need to exchange or else we're pulling the plug. And you're trying to talk reason to them, saying you've knowingly accepted this person, knowing that they're in a chain, and yet you insist on all these threats and, you know, appalling behavior that's, you know, almost akin to harassment, just to get what they want. And it's not fair on people who are buying in good faith, who'll find that they've exchanged. The properties are probably not due to be ready till April or May. And, you know, they'll probably be left with half the property, with the way that snagging and defects are left. And the way I'm kind of looking into these contracts at the moment, and you get such a wide array of what people will allow you to sign, and you know, basically even housing association solicitors at the moment, I've got issues with them. I'm going, this is wrong, it doesn't make sense. Then they're like going, nope, not changing it, tough luck. And I'm just like, how can I say to my client this is acceptable when it's clearly wrong? And
Yes.
you know, just by way of an example, I've got a client buying a house, a new build house, and the contract refers to a district network heating system. Now, this is very odd for a house. I have seen the odd development historically that has one, but they're
Right.
like going, nope, we're not taking it out. And I'm going, if you leave this in the lease, this is going to cause me issues because that client's going to come back to me to resell, hopefully. And how am I going to explain this to onward buyers? They're like going, nope, sorry, not changing it. It's just like, why this refusal? Why the big egos to not even look at what you've done to consider what's right and what's wrong?
Well, it seems to me a lot of people are trying to close things down as quickly as possible. Krista, is that this slapdash attitude, trying to get the sale over the line without necessarily taking into account the human costs in there? Is it?
I think there's a huge amount of a huge lack of accountability across the spectrum. So it's not just limited to the property industry; it's limited to people at large. But yeah, in terms of transactions and challenging transactions that we've had through the year, we've had all sorts of things go wrong. And it's normally down to, like Zara said, outrageous egos, just refusal to take accountability for people's actions, and just unrealistic expectations, often on sellers' sides. Where, for one example, that's been a repeated pattern for us, is we've been more than ready on our legal side, and then waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for contracts to come through, because the seller's not completed all the documentation that the solicitors asked them to do. They think they've got a sale, and then they can sit on their laurels. And then once they do send all that documentation in, that's all they need to do for the sale to complete. So when they do send in that documentation and the contract comes over, then they're like, right, ready to go now, let's sell. And it's like, well, no, we've got to do all the stuff that we were waiting on you sending before we can process everything. So it's like, no. So there's lots of unrealistic thinking in across life, to be honest with you. But it's at the sharp end, certainly in the property world.
Sorry,
there's so much at stake.
Oh, I was just going to ask Chris, do you think that lack of placement of that funding has got anything to do with the building safety crisis? Because obviously housing associations have to plan for, you know, continuous cycle for repairing these buildings.
I think that's part of it. Yeah. So some of the larger housing associations, they do have those sync funds, but some of the smaller ones not necessarily so. I think also that when you start to get into these large bureaucratic type entities, there's this corporate mentality that creeps in. That there is this level of ego that it's like you do what we say or go away, which is completely inappropriate in how you negotiate contracts with people. You need two willing parties to come to the table. And for one just to try and dictate terms, that's not really a contract, is it? It's completely different.
So if we were going to round up the year, and I'm desperately looking for a chink of light here, we'd say that although confusion reigns because they've muddied waters, removed existing concepts and not really replaced them with anything else, or perhaps clarified on position. In the new year, well, can you give me something positive to look forward to, Zara?
Oh, well, there is this home buying and selling consultation that the government have given everyone until the 29th of December to respond to. So if you can respond to that, put your 2 pennies worth in, say what you need to say about what's going on in the state of play in the market. Hopefully they will listen and not just re-engineer it or, change the perception of what people have said to suit their needs.
Right. So I just wanted to find some very odd comments coming in today. I'm just going to quickly remove that. Thank you. Very, very odd comments. Anyway, look, so Chris, you're at the moment in almost transition from, because the next year represents move on to a new chapter for Root Home, I believe, but really, because you're going to consolidate and hopefully move forward with your new project base. And you told me the other day that you're contracting your purview to really focus on your home turf, right? So Liverpool and surroundings.
We're focusing more on the northwest of England, yeah,
right.
and trying to accelerate our transition into specially supported living, working with different care providers who they're keen to. Well, they have a huge amount of demand, and it's just providing a different service, or a slightly different service, but doing very similar to what we have been doing.
Well, thank you very much. People are complimenting me in the chat. Thank you so much for that, Soph. And someone was defending your honour just now, Chris, as well. Thank you, Soph. I appreciate that. And complimenting your hair now, Zara. There you go. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you,
Chris. You're very handsome, apparently. Now, I wouldn't know on that sort of thing, but yes, marvelous. Look, we're just going to round everything up. Zara, Chris, in both of your businesses, are things getting to the point where they are calming down at Christmas, or is it still madness? Chris?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, the estate agents checked out at the start of December. Solicitors, I think they're finishing about tomorrow, right, Zara?
Yeah.
The builders are pretty much wrapping up. So yeah, for me, it's an opportunity to take stock and reflect and turn my attention to the types of things that I don't normally get the time during the working week to do.
Marvelous. And a big family Christmas?
Yes. Always is.
Marvelous. Zara's got her teenage children coming home to roost, which is I'm sure will be delightful.
No, they're already home. I'm just trying to drag them out of bed.
Good luck with that, Zara. Good luck with that. Zara, any last thoughts before I shut this down for the year?
Just wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
And let's hope 2026 will be much better.
Well, yes, and I'm also asking for everyone out there in the building land and the property land, etc., etc. Bit of clarity, please. Just a little bit of clarity, so we know what we're dealing with. But having said that, maybe I'm fighting against myself. There'd be no point for property quorum if it was all nice and clear and obvious. But by the same token, a little bit of clarity. Thank you so much, Chris Gilson of Root Home. Excellent property developer focusing on HMOs in the Northwest. Zara Olibokas, Nexa Law, excellent conveyancing specialist. Please do check out the Conveyancing Ferry. It's a site that she's putting together, hopefully, to help people move forward with their conveyancing with lower stress. And thank you, So Vibes, for saying such wonderful things. Very kind of you. Now, all of you out there, take note. Please keep your feet on the ground. Please reach for the stars. But in this particular time of year, as ever, try and look after your mental health. Until next year, a happy new year to you all. Bye-bye now.